This is the house style I decided to use for my music magazine. The colour scheme will be white, red and black. As my research shows, these are very common colours used in the particular genre my magazine is based upon. All the photographs I will take of my model will be edited and taken following a certain pattern that relates to the house style. For example, I can edit the image to take the colour out, leaving only black, white and red. The main font I will use is called Dubtone. It is a grunge style and looks similar to the fonts which Kerrang use, making my magazine appear more professional. For my masthead, I will use the font Bloody Impact, editing the blood marks to make them red. This will connote that my magazine is for fans of the horror rock genre. I did a lot of research into the types of people who would read my magazine, and found that horror films are very commonly watched amongst fans of this genre. Many classic horror films use the colours red, black and white for their titles, especially Hammer Horror. In the images below, the colour red represents blood and gore, and the black and white represents the monotone colours in the film. This is why I'm going to use this colour scheme for my magazine. This is my magazine masthead, created in the font Bloody Impact. At first, the text on my masthead was very thin and separated, so I made it bold and removed a lot of the spacing between letters. I think this has improved the look of the masthead, and the chunky text helps it to stand out. I really like the blood marks on the text, as it represents the genre of the magazine perfectly. I took inspiration from my masthead from this mood board of popular rock magazine mastheads. They all use chunky, simple font and stick to a maximum of 3 colours. I found this research very useful when making my masthead. Before presenting my prezi to the class, I created a survey on SurveyMonkey to receive important feedback and advice for my magazine idea. The most important feedback I received from my pitch was from 7 people who filled in the survey. 3 people said they liked the focus on horror. 5 people said that they liked the colour scheme, and 100% of the people asked agreed with my target audience. I received both student and teacher feedback. A lot of it helped me gain confidence in my idea and pushed me in the direction I should take it. I found the comment section on the SurveyMonkey website a very useful feature. It has helped me look more into the possible horror elements I could include on my magazine. After I received this feedback, I have changed a lot of areas from my initial idea. I have decided to add horror elements. I changed the spelling of the name, as I'd spelt it differently. I changed the way that the model will be dressed and his style. And the final decision on the font and house style. I gained confirmation that my target audience and age range were correct, and decided to add in a couple of pages dedicated to horror film and horror film recommendations and reviews from other bands. When coming up with the idea for my music magazine, I took inspirations from the popular magazine Kerrang. I particularly like the small cover lines, done in a simple black chunky font, but surrounded by a bright orange box to help them stand out. The masthead is slightly covered by the image. This is because the magazine is well known and the masthead is recognisable with just a few letters showing. The competition cell line on the right is very influential on the audience and fits in well with the overall image of the magazine. The large cover line of the band's name, done in a different font, draws the attention from the main image very well. The main image of the band, Black Veil Brides, is a long shot, heavily edited to look darker and fit in with Kerrang's theme. I also really like the bright and dark contrast in the colour scheme. I will make sure to use this cover when I design my magazine on Photoshop, as it contains many interesting elements that link in well with my theme. Here are some images of Taylor Munson from The Pretty Reckless. I have based the main feature artist off her style, and I want the model to do similar poses as she is doing in these 3 images. To ensure of this, I will take these images to the photo shoot so my model will know exactly what to do. These images look very dramatic with the black and white effect, and I think I will see if my images would work in the black and white colour. However, I do want an image of my model with a musical instrument, preferably a guitar, for the contents page because I think this will illustrate the artist's dedication to music. This is a selection of gothic clothing and props that I want my model to have, such as a black and silver corset, black leather jacket, suspender style tights, high creeper style shoes, very long false eyelashes, and a selection of gothic rings. These elements will make my model look more realistic as an artist and connote the darker side to her music. Also, by wearing black and silver, it will make the images easier to make black and white. I haven't fully decided what all my cover lines will say, but I have a very clear idea and I think that only a few more will be needed. As for the style of the cover lines, they will be in white with the dub tone font and surrounded by a dark red box so they stand out amongst the darker colours on the cover. My main cover line will be the feature, which will read Living Dead Girl, and under this will be a pull quote from the article to intrigue the audience to buy and read the feature. I drew a flat plan as it will be extremely useful during the making of my cover, as I won't stray away from my idea or miss anything important. It shows where everything will be placed. The masthead will be at the top, so it will be seen on a magazine rack in a shop. The competition will be on the right, similar to that of Kerrang magazine's competition. The main cover line will be just under the model's shoulder, to ensure that her face is visible and also her clothing. I will have a bottom and top banner also to ensure that nothing important is cut from the magazine when it's printed. The cover lines will be on both the left and right side of the model. They will be small, so they don't detract from the main image. The contents page flat plan serves the same purpose. The headline reading Contents will be accompanied by a grunge-style background keeping in with the theme. The contents page image will be of the same model, but this time in a different pose. She will be holding a guitar and looking off into the distance to connote her thought and dedication to music. When looking at Kerrang magazine's contents page, I noticed a self-promotional box advertising Kerrang subscription package and how to contact them. I will do the same in my magazine. I will also include a small editor's note and possibly accompany that with an image. This is the flat plan for my double page spread. The headline reads, "Look at what the bat's dragged in," which is a joke and also lyrics from the song by Wednesday 13. The text for this will be done in the same style as the Misfits logo, but in different colours. My article will be about the artist. Half will be an interview and the other half information about her music. The article will begin with a drop capital in the colours that fit the theme. The text will stretch over 2 pages, as will the image of the model. I will charge £4.25 for my magazine. This may seem expensive compared to magazines like Kerrang, which only cost £2.20. However, I want my magazine to have a similar persona and quality as Metal Hammer, which costs £4.75. Due to this research, I know that my magazine would be a middle choice in the price between Kerrang and Metal Hammer. Because I am charging a large amount, my magazine would come out monthly as Metal Hammer does. I took inspiration for my contents page from this Kerrang contents page. The layout of the images on my contents page will follow similar to the way it is on this Kerrang page. A main image of my model will be featured on the left and a small editor's note image in the centre at the bottom of the page. I also took inspiration from the Kerrang magazine contents page, but to put my own magazine style on it, due to the recurring horror film themes in the magazine, I thought the page numbers in a blood splat would look much more interesting and appealing to my audience. Before making my flat plan, I did research into how double page spreads are normally laid out. Here are 4 double-page spreads from popular music magazines which I took inspiration from. On the top left, the article is fitted around the artist, and I like the way this looks. It almost looks as if he's saying it himself. I noticed that the image of the artist often takes up more than one page, so I know my design isn't flawed to have the model's legs leading onto the other page. These articles use 3 colours at a maximum. For my double page spread, I use red and black with a white background or possibly a gradient. The font on the top of my double page spread will be the Misfits logo font. It will read, "Look at what the bat's dragged in." I decided to use Misfits font because the feature artist will talk about how the band, Misfits, inspired her to make music. Other areas which require large fonts will be done in the magazine house style font Dubtone. The article itself will be about the artist Living Dead Girl. It will be a part interview, part informational article. And at the bottom will also feature other artists that sound like this artist.